What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this one we're going to get back on with doing a few more bits on this XV750. Now I need to give you a little bit of apology. I might have done a couple of little bits without filming it. So one of the things that we've done that has not really been giving me sleepless nights, but it's been sort of in my mind for a while that I needed to sort out, was getting this back brake working now that we have replaced these rear set brackets with some nice new ones. Now I'm happy to say we've got the back brake working. Now Richard from Main Automotive, who's a friend, I'll put a link in the description to him. He deals in modern classics, Cosworths, Renault 5 turbos, Mitsubishi, Subarus, all sorts of stuff like that. He's got some amazing stock, so if you're in the market for that, check out his Instagram. I'll put a link in the description, like I said. He came over yesterday and for a cup of tea, really. Ended up being there for quite a few hours, and we bashed a few ideas about. I managed to get this sorted out and working. So obviously you've got the new rear sets with the brake lever here. That rod along the back there, if you can see. That rod along the back there, if you can see, comes along here to this arm pivot point. This is all mackled together. I've got to make it all properly. This arm here pushes the rod there, pivots on that point. That then in turn pulls forward like that, which in turn pulls the back brake on. We've got a return spring on there as well, and we've got a stop fitted to it. So it's all doing exactly what it should do, and the brake works. When you sat on it, you're not moving your foot too much. It's as uncomfortable as any motorbike I've ever ridden to pull the back brake on. How much the back brake actually works, I'm not sure because it's not been ridden yet, but that is a better point than I was yesterday morning. So that's one of the little jobs that we sorted out. One of the other jobs that we've got to sort out was the Speedo Sensor for the front wheel that obviously then goes up to the speedo on the dash, so you know how fast you're going. Now this comes with the Motogadget Motoscope Pro Dash. It's an electromagnet inside or whatever it is, I don't know, some widgetry, makes it work, and yeah, you've just got to fit it so that it is somewhere on the front wheel that rotates so that the magnet will then, well, this will pick up the magnet signal for the speedo to work. So what we did was we made this flat plate here. It's fixed in where the front mudguard fixes into, drilled a hole so that thread goes through there. But I'm not overly happy with it. It works, it does a job, and it does exactly what it needs to do. But I just think it could look a little bit nicer. So I've come in this morning and over a nice cup of tea in my DAC Industries mug, which is available at dacind.com, as well as all the other merch. I've just restocked these teas actually, so yeah, head over, grab yourselves one. What I'm going to do in this video is going to try something a little bit different. So drop me a comment and I'll pick a random comment and I'll announce in the next video who the winner is. And I'll send you a couple of stickers and I'll actually send you your own DAC Industries mug. Probably not going to have any tea in it though. But anyway, back to the regular programming. I've designed myself a new bracket, which looks a little something like this. So here and here are obviously the points that are going to pick up where the front mudguard was mounted, and this is the point where the Speedo sensor wants to go. But my idea is that all of this lot is going to strengthen it, but it's just going to be hidden behind all of these bits. I'm going to have to trim a little bit off at the back, but hopefully that's going to work. So let's get that transferred, or cut out, transferred some steel, and put on the bike, see if it works. There we go. That bracket on there looking much, much better than just a flat bar straight across. So yeah, 10 minutes worth of work. Sort of follows the contour of this. It's sort of hidden from there. Yeah, I think that looks a hell of a lot better. Now, obviously this cable we're going to have to try and clip out of the way, but what we're going to do is bring it along and then follow the brake line up, just so that we've not got any more wires going up or anything up than we need to have. But yeah, I think that is looking much better. When it's painted, it'll blend in even more. Right then, the next thing to sort on my list is mounting this dashboard onto the top triple of this. Now, this is a Motogadget Motoscope Pro dashboard. It does everything that you need to have: speed, revs, all your light notifications, everything basically. It's all in this one little unit, and it is an absolutely brilliant and very, very nice looking little unit. It's going to look so good when it's up on those bars. I bought this plate as well, which is the mounting plate that they sell, which we're going to have to cut and adapt to be able to mount it onto this triple. Now, I've got a bit of an idea. I want it sort of sitting as tight down to those as I can, so that it's sort of, yeah, don't look too out of place, and it sits flush straight with this. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to need to modify this top triple, which I've already undone and taken off. So we're going to cut the lock hole off of it. We're going to cut all these bits off the back and get it all sitting nice and flush and cut back. I have already had this in the sandblaster, which I haven't spoken about yet. So yeah, something that has been on my list for as long as I can remember, really, for when I had a workshop, was for some reason, I don't know why, I wanted a sandblaster. But that day has come. So we've bought this, which is a standalone sandblasting cabinet with an extractor. Turn it on. It's got a lovely little light inside. We've got a few bits in there that I've been playing with. It needs a bit of a clean, but it's dust, so it's going to get dirty. You have to constantly keep cleaning it. But yeah, sandblast cabinet with sandblast media in it. And this is off the Golf, and this was absolutely caked in mud, dirt, grease, and grime. Look how clean it's come out. Yeah. Hopefully, it's going to make cleaning things up once we are ready to paint them or whatever a hell of a lot easier. We can prep things for sending them out for finishing as well. But yeah, banging little bit of kit. And I'm finding myself just picking things up in the workshop and sandblasting them for the sake of it. It's, yeah, one of the things I've always wanted, so we've got one. Right, I need to change the battery on this camera because it's about to die. Then we'll get on with cutting all these bits off of here and hopefully getting that dashboard mounted on. Let's roll. There's those cleaned up then. Well, I've still got to clean that a little bit up. It's all trimmed back mostly. Just need to tidy a little bit up there. But we've got rid of all of that gubbins that was going on at the top, and it looks much nicer and much cleaner. I've took the badge off as well. So, looking at this, you've got this, which is an aluminium plate, which I bought from Motoscope, or from Motogadget, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to use it. Offering the dash in, we want it sitting somewhere about there, and I was going to do it straight flat, and I don't know whether I want it angled up slightly towards the rider or not. So you've got a slight angle to it instead of it being, I don't know, but we need to lift it up and raise it up anyway, so I think we're going to have to make a new one of these with some folds in to get it to where we want. So we've got some 2mm steel, we'll transfer this shape on and we'll cut a new one out. There we go then, that's that cut out and that now mounted onto it. It's obviously still rusty, we're not really worried about that because we're still making it. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this back off, I'm going to transfer that steel onto that piece of card so we can work out what we've got to do and how I want it to sit. Now, thinking, if you see there how there's a step, I want that to pretty much be flush or up towards the top of that. I don't really want to just go spacing, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some bends into this to bring it up to here, if we can. So So transfer that into card, and then we can play with the card easier than the steel to work out the distances between all the folds. Hopefully. There we go then, I've run it through the sandblaster as well. So yeah, nice little plate made up to hold the dash. Now, these holes here, I've just put them in because when that's mounted like that, and it's sat upwards like that, if it ever rained when the bike was out in the wet, rain would get in there, so that's just a little drain on, so no water will sit in there. So, let's get this all bolted together on the bike, see what it looks like. There we go, sat on the bike. Nice looking little dash. Like I say, them holes there purely just for letting any rain out. That looks absolutely mega. When it's all painted black, that's going to look trick. Looking from the front as well, it's quite subtle and you can't really... You see it, but when everything's all painted the same colour, it's going to look mega. Now, what we've got to do is work out how to get it working. Well, after a lot of head scratching, a lot of putting wires in, taking wires out, changing wires around, sitting there reading wiring diagrams, we've got the dash working. So, I've got a new ignition coming, this is just temporary. Turn the ignition on. Oh, look at that. She comes on, does everything we need her to do. He says, but I'm not working. But yeah, there's the dash on. Looking absolutely trick. So, I will try and do a loose show of what I've done to wiring, because I don't really know myself, I've just sort of plugged wires in. I've had loads and loads and loads of messages about this whole Mo unit and getting it all to work on this bike and what wires run where. It is pretty simple if you understand electrics in the slightest, but yeah, I still don't fully understand it, I don't think. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my hardest to draw, do a wiring diagram for the bike, because I haven't got a wiring diagram for this. I struggle to work off wiring diagrams. I just like to work it out and plug wires in wherever they are. But anyway, I will try and do a wiring diagram, and I am also planning on doing an episode talking about the integration of all this system now I've done it and sort of know how it works and that this bike now works. So let me just show you a little bit on here what I've done and where I've put things. Dashboard obviously is mounted up on now. I've actually mounted the button for the dashboard that allows you to cycle through different things. Tells you how many G's you pull in when you accelerate. Yeah, that button is in that little hole in there, and it actually turns out works quite neat out of the way, but it works. We've ran with this breakout box here. Now, I'm still unsure as to whether you actually need this breakout box to run the dash or not, but from what I can gather, this breakout box basically allows you to put more signals and inputs into this. So at the moment on this, we've got a neutral switch, high beam, so there'll be a high beam warning light when lights on, put high beam on, and now we've got a high beam warning light. There you go, high beam warning light to tell us that high beam's on. What else have we got? We've got turn left and turn right, so when we indicate, we get, and buttons ain't working, we'll have to get back in there and find out what's going on with that anyway. But yeah, that does that. And oil pressure, so from the oil pressure switch, I think it's the oil pressure switch anyway, we've wired that in, and then there's just one single wire, which is that little orange wire that goes up to the dash that sends all these different signals up to it and tells it what to do. In here, the bit that tripped me up on the instructions was in the Motogadget book, it tells you that the brown brown wire from the dash goes down into the 12 volt input on this. It doesn't. What you need is you need a wire, which is this brown wire here, going from the 12 volt input to auxiliary 1 in the output side of the Mo unit. You need to go in on your phone if you've got the blue and configure it to turn that so that it switches on and off with the ignition, and then you tee off of it. That is then ignition power to the breakout box and ignition power to turn the dashboard on. Inline fuse there for the main constant 12 volt power, which comes in the box, which just goes from the power there. Yeah, I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to sit down and try and do a drawing about it, but all that matters at the minute is it's on and it works. So that is all we wanted to do. I'm happy with that for now. In the next one, we've got some nice new shiny carburetors to put on it. We're going to get the carbs on, get them all working. I'll probably chuck all the bodywork back on, and then it'll be time for a proper ride down the farm and around the farm, because it is pretty much then mostly done. We've got brakes working. Yeah, so right, I'm waffling again. I'm well excited. Right, we'll leave this one here. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Like I say, I am going to try and do a bit more in-depth video into the electrics because that is what I've had most questions on. But we'll leave that on there then, guys. Until next time, enjoy.